Welcome to writinglong.com. I've really been looking forward to doing this episode because it's all about typewriters. I actually have one right here that I use every day. It's not a sound effect, by the way. It's a real Underwood typewriter, Champion typewriter. I've had this one for about 5, 6 years now. It's in pretty good shape. It was restored when I got it. It can use a little more work, but you know what? That sound, you just cannot replace that. I will never use an MP3 sound. I'm going to use it every single episode because it's just that satisfying. It has something in it, not some kind of magic that it's going to make your writing pop. Or I started writing on that, but I actually found it kind of annoying after a while because I had to change the paper all the time, and I was just thinking this is kind of holding me back. But it's not why I have it. If you want to write on a typewriter, I go for it. If it's convenient for you, if you enjoy it, I couldn't keep buying ribbon ink. Like it was just harder and harder to find. And sure, I can buy it online, but all these things. But it doesn't matter. It's just more appreciation for it. I have it next to me every single day. It stands for something. Typewriters are such an important historical item. You can call it a product if you want, but I think it's more than that. It's part of an era. It's a symbol of it. And you see people use typewriters as all kind of imagery. When you think of writing, you sometimes think of a typewriter. You don't always think of a pen and paper. When you think of a writer, what do you picture them? Sitting next to a typewriter. And why is that? What is that magic of it then? What is that long-lasting spirit that is just kind of carried high through everything? There are people who have never seen a typewriter in their life. They've never been near one. They have never even encountered one, but they know what it is. I really think with it forces you to enjoy and understand what writing can be, separate from everything else. You get a piano or something. This is the way I would really look at it. You have a grand piano. I hope you've had an opportunity to play one in your life. If not, go find one. If you're in LA, there's a train station, I think, that has a grand piano. Union Station, I think they used to have it at some point. Am I crazy? Someone fact check me on that. But nevertheless, you're creating sounds, this symphonic effect, this harmony, this beauty of music. Even if you're just banging on the keys, you're producing something, but it's separate. You're not doing it on a computer. You're the same keyboard that I'm using to type stuff here. It's my laptop keyboard. I'm not making sounds on there. I'm making sounds on something made just for music, made just for piano strings, not some emulation or anything like that. And that's what I really like about the typewriter. It's the same kind of effect. I'm writing on something that was meant for it. I can't do anything else with it. What else are you going to do with that piece of machinery? Are you going to use it as a weapon? Are you going to use it to send a text message? Are you going to use it to make music? You can't. It was built for one purpose, and you're using it for that purpose. I found writing to really have this kind of transformation when I started to see it like that, when I started to experience it like that. And, people used to use it in their corporate America way back then, right? In the 1900s was a real thing, and it had its place. It had its, context. And when you kind of take it out of that, it's like you're reaching into the past. Buy one. I really recommend you buy one. I don't have any cool affiliate links that I'll make any money off of, but go find some on eBay. Go find a good one and find the one that OfferUp is a great place. This isn't an advertisement, but I use them to find this one. Someone who took great care of it and was able to pass it down and experience what it's like for yourself. It's so much fun. It's just, I have written plenty of stuff on it. It looks different too. Versus just printing a page out or something, you see it in a generic font, blah, blah, blah. It's not that interesting, but when you somehow type things down and see the letters getting pressed onto the page in real time, it's like you're imprinting into reality right before your eyes. It's becoming real. I really want you to try this. Go find a typewriter and type something out, or you can do this, copy and paste a paragraph from a famous book, a scene you like from a book, and print it out on little printer paper and then type it out on the typewriter and hold the 2 pages up, compare them. They're both imprinted on the page with ink. What's different? It's more personal. It's more intimate with the typewriter. And it doesn't mean everything you ever write for the rest of your life has to be done on a typewriter. I don't think it has to mean that at all. But I do think it kind of is it's definitely a cataclysmic, however you want to phrase it, part of your writing experience and your writer's journey. Everyone should try one. Everyone should have one, I think, especially writers, because of just what it gives you, what it kind of reminds you of. It serves as, you hang a painting on the wall and it kind of inspires these feelings in you. Typewriter too. It's not just decoration. Hopefully it reminds you of something like, oh, writing it's that significant to the world that there was a machine built just for it. And before, printing was pretty high up there. Like the average person wasn't able to do it, but this kind of not commodified it, but it made it something more accessible. Everybody can do it. They can invite this. It's not a printing press, but in a sense it does. It presses letters. And America, the world was able to invite it into their households. You can still invite it into your household and see what it brings, see what it creates. Just keep it in a room where you write. You'll see that. You'll look at it sometimes and just have these feelings. I'm not saying like the spirit of typewriting visits you or something like that, but it's some kind of magic that you feel from it that you can't say doesn't exist. I gotta show it again. This thing is, in my opinion, one of the greatest things ever built. Because, well, for me, selfishly, right, as a writer, it's kind of validating that writing is real. It necessitates a whole apparatus, a whole system, a whole machinery, mechanics that are just like reflections of what writing is and can mean for me and mean for you. As a whole, typewriting is, some might say, dead. It's like a hobby. There are a lot of collectors of it. Some people just like to have a bunch of them. Where I got this one, before I got that one, I encountered someone else who was trying to sell me one. They just had a whole garage full of them, like sorted, and it was like a museum I walked into. It was amazing. And guess what? I didn't buy from them because I honestly didn't want to take from their collection. I didn't want to. They weren't a writer either. They were collecting it for a whole different reason than this other person I bought it from, who they used it for their screenwriting, and they're pretty. I read some of their stuff. I really liked it, and a lot of other writers I've talked to, they have a typewriter. They try to use one at least at some point. And what is that? What is that effect it creates? What is that air of mystique it has to it? It's the sound. It's the feeling of it, the metal of it. They have the 80s electric typewriters. They look cool too. I would really want to get one of those at some point. Like I said, this episode isn't really. It's more just me being excited about typewriters. I really can't explain it any other way. I want you to share that enthusiasm too. I guess I can't force that upon people, but I'm just going to upload it anyways because I want to find other people who share the same enthusiasm about it. It's like an accelerator, I think, for understanding what writing means and like how to get a deeper relationship with it, because it forces you to make it. When you're typing on a computer or a laptop, it works. You can do that. You should do that if that works best for you. But there's a place you come from. Again, I say this plenty of times. It's not always what you say, it's the way you say it. The one little word that you change, the one little intonation or the words that came before it that influence how that sentence is read and understood and comprehended by others. So because of that, that's like sense of, it's kind of a slowness. Like you got to quiet everything down and you got to kind of silence your mind a bit. And to reach and understand that, a typewriter is, you, without even trying, you reach that place. It's like it's meditative. It's something that I think only a typewriter can do. And that span of time, you write on a computer, you'll learn it. It'll happen eventually. But let me put it this way: if you're just writing on a Word document, what else do you use a Word document for? What else are you filling the page with? Calendar, you know, like people use it for all like work stuff, and maybe it's just some kind of, you know, looking through the past. Things look a lot more golden. There's a different context of being in the present and reaching in the past versus being there. Typewriters too, like I said, they were used in working culture, but now it's just kind of like, it's an antique. It's just a souvenir. It's something you removed that was preserved, and now you're bringing it into now where it doesn't really have a place. It's kind of like an outsider. Typewriters are outsiders in the world, and as writers sometimes you find yourself in that kind of same context too, especially when, who's a writer now? Like there's not many people who are doing it, who are going out of their way to develop that part of themselves, but it's like some kind of kinship is made with the typewriter, and I could talk about this stuff for hours. This probably is one of the videos, the episodes without as much direction. I don't really care. I love typewriters. I really think you should get one too. Check out How to Write a Book in 30 Days. It's on my website, writingalong.com. It's 24 pages. Really, it's not about how many pages it is. You can skim through it if you want. It just gets you in the right mindset of how to actually get a book done, what it takes, because it's really not that difficult. It's not something you got to stress about and, you know, worry about or spend your whole, you know, the next 10 years doing it. It's not like that at all. Just ask the writers who came before you. I don't mean me specifically. I mean really look at the writers of the past. They've done it before. You can do it too. It's not some, you know, I'm talking about the magic of typewriters. Writing itself isn't mystical. It's something you can do too.